welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be taking you guys through my full quad workout, and we're going to do it mic'd up so I can take you through form tips and also substitutes for exercises so that you guys can really bloody grow your quads, and I can help take you guys through the entire process. First and foremost, I am also a coach, so this is actually coming from a qualified professional as well, but also I know you guys have been super keen and waiting on a bit of a mic'd up quad session with a lot of technique tips and stuff along the way, so let's bloody do that today. Firstly, of course, we've got on Honor Active, okay? Millie to say. We've got on, guys, if you can't tell by now, I am absolutely obsessed with anything wrap, leggings, flares, shorts, and Honor Active has these freaking gorgeous honestly, these shorts are slept on. I do not see nearly enough people wearing these shorts, and honestly, I'm gonna be living in these, and I hope they come out in so many more colors because I'm obsessed. It's doing God's work for the waist as well. So this is the wrap shorts in Unified, and this is in color Rosewood, paired with ultra minimal v-neck bralette in Muscle Mummy Red. The back of the bra looks like this, and then also the back of the shorts is no scrunch, but it still just looks. So this is today's leg day fit. There's something about red, guys. There is something about red that really makes you feel some type of way, doesn't it? Anyways, next up, we have to make ourselves a little bit of a pre-workout, which for me is just a black coffee. I'm not really on like my pre-workout train, just because of all my gut health stuff. I don't really need to be putting all of that artificial crap into my body when all we actually want out of the pre-workout is the caffeine. So let's, one, save some money with some black coffee, and two, look, it doesn't taste the same. It doesn't taste the same. I'm not gonna pretend. Honestly, when I was having pre-workout every day, it was for the taste more than absolutely anything. There was a point where like I was getting the opposite effect with pre-workout, and I was like getting so tired, but I was so addicted to the taste every single day. I also just add a scoop of creatine into my coffee as well. The only thing that sometimes I forget is to have it on my rest days, because you should be taking creatine every single day. Just creatine monohydrate, by the way. You do not need anything fancy. There's not like a higher grade. I know that they've started the kind of marketing creatine in a way where they're pretending like there's certain creatines for like certain goals and stuff. The only creatine you need is creatine monohydrate, which is also the most affordable. And you can literally get it from anywhere, guys. There's not even a particular brand that's better than the other as such, unless they're kind of marketing in a different way. And like, I would say the best one is probably the most affordable one, because they should all be the same thing. So yeah, just wanted to, I get asked about creatine still every single day, which is just baffling, because I swear, we have debunked this surely by now, but we have said for so long, yes, we should all be taking creatine. Yes, even if you don't train, you should take creatine. Creatine has so many benefits, aside from just training to help with your performance, your recovery, your strength, all of that. It also has cognitive benefits, and it's the most scientifically proven and studied supplement on the market. It's probably one of the only supplements that actually is as good as it sounds. So if there's one supplement, guys, that I'm ever going to convince you to actually have, I hope it is creatine. On the topic of supplements, if there's any supplement I do recommend for everyone, it would be creatine, like I said. And also I do really recommend a good protein. The reason being, it's never a bad idea to have a good quality WPI or plant protein if you can't have any type of whey which has got lactose in it. It's never a bad idea to have that in your cupboard for days where you may be low in protein, or you may be on the go, or you may be traveling, where you can just have a double or a single scoop of protein to help you get that protein intake up. Always something that can be really helpful to have in your cupboard. For example, like protein is something that you do have to make a really conscious effort to include into every meal. Carbohydrates are really easy, but there's typically not a lot of protein in it, and also fats tend to be really easy, but there's not a lot of protein in it. So those two can be really easily and accessible from, you know, things like your fruit or rice cakes and things like that. That's your carbohydrates. Fats easy with like nuts and nut butters and things like that as well, or oil that you may add into your food, all of that. However, protein tends to be something that you do need to cook or like somewhat be prepared for. So, you know, your protein yogurts are a really great option. Otherwise, it kind of is more towards meats. And of course there needs to be some kind of preparation in there. So sometimes when you may be on the go or you may be traveling, protein that you can add to meals or just have on the go is just always like, it's always helpful. So yeah, honestly, they're probably the only two supplements I'm really like, look, they're really worth their money. Anyways, let's scull this because we're not having any leisurely sips on this bad boy. It's actually really hot, so I kind of do need to sip on it. Hello guys, we have just rocked up to the gym. I'm not gonna lie, I've done something to my neck. I went and got a massage and needling done in my neck yesterday. Literally 1.5 hours on my neck alone. That's how bad it is. So I'm actually just gonna kind of test the waters and just see how it feels today, because the last thing I want to do is go in and like put all the strain back in my neck that we tried to get rid of yesterday, and it is really tender today. So regardless, I'm going to take you guys through my quad session with lots of tips and alternatives and stuff to really help you guys create the perfect quad workout for you and what you can do, and really like something really enjoyable for you guys. But I may not actually hit the quad session with my normal intensity today, because honestly, I am not cranking up my neck after the amount of work I do. But anyways, let's get in there. It looks like there is quite a few people in there today. I get a little bit nervy doing anything like filming or mic'd up. I'm still getting used to this, guys. But anyways, let's get in there. Shut up, Millie. Let's go. Okay guys, so the first thing is we always want to warm up, just so we can really make sure that we're nice and mobile, so that we can get the best range of motion for all of our movements, to be able to maximize the muscle recruitment and also go through things pain-free, so we can lift heavier, not get injured. Honestly, the quality of your workout is always going to come down to the quality of your warm-up, so never ever miss the warm-up, because that's really just going to maximize your session and your results as well. I'll just start with some leg swings. I do probably about 20 reps are enough to kind of just feel a lot more blood flow throughout my legs. Just front and back first. I also still keep my core braced, so I'm not activating through my lower back, just so I can make sure I'm keeping it all through my legs. And then opening up. And then repeat the exact same to the other side. And then through the middle again. So this will also help open up through the adductors. And again, this one is more about like getting some blood flow, opening up through the joints. Next, we're going to come down, drive that knee down to the ground. What I want you guys to focus on here is squeezing this glute, okay? And then opening up through that hip, chest up, core strong, coming up. Front leg's going to be like kind of in that 90-degree position, coming all the way down to the ground. Again, still squeezing that glute, opening up through that hip flexor. This is going to help with our hip mobility. And then I do about, honestly, 10 to 20 depending on what I need. Probably 10, and then I sit down in this bottom spot, squeezing that glute, opening up. You want to take big, deep breaths and just relax into the stretch, but then continuously get deeper into it as well. So drive, squeeze that glute, and then drive that knee forward in a way that opens up deeper throughout that hip. We don't want to have any extending happening through the back. Just keep that core braced and keep that glute locked on. And sit in this bottom spot. Drive the knee forward. I actually want to get a bit of spine mobility as well, because as we load up our lower body, our spine is also going to tend to be locked up, and if we don't have a lot of mobility happening through there and it's really stacked up, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. Lower back can start to be pulled, and it's just going to impact, you know, the load that you're able to lift and also how comfortable all of the movements are. So first I want to come under, open up through the shoulders and the chest. It may seem like, what's the point when we're doing lower body? But honestly, if you're holding weight or anything, whether it's on your back or whether it's in your hands, if you're really locked up through your shoulders and your back, then it's going to feel really, really uncomfortable. And then stretching out through the side. And then some twisting. Okay, next we're just going to do a little bit of core activation as well, because that's going to support us throughout all of our movements too. So what I want you guys to do, time you're thinking of core, I want you to think from your belly button down to like your pelvis area, okay? And I want you to try and get that lowest part of your lower back onto the ground. It's a very slight crunch. When I first started doing core, I always thought I had to crunch up towards this upper part, like up near the ribs, when really your core is more this lower part, okay? So you want to kind of crunch this belly button down and then lower back flat on the ground. Bring those knees up to about a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to bring our hands up overhead. Obviously, I'm going to keep this here so that you guys can hear me. I want you guys to hold this for about 30 seconds. And if you really struggle with core activation, start here. You can also start with your hands beside you, which is a little bit easier. Hands up is going to be a little bit harder. To make it harder again, keeping that lower back flat on the ground, we're going to straighten up those legs and keep that hollow hold position. And this is just going to really fire up that core to support you. Then from there, we're going to go opposite arm, opposite leg. This one always gets me, okay? Start there. And then again, trying to keep that lower back flat on the ground, coming up, hands directly up above, and then making sure that movement happens through the core, not just moving your arm and your leg down. Oh my God. Guys, this is so painful, I'm not gonna lie. Do 10 more. We're gonna go side plank, coming onto the side. What I want you guys to do, you can make it easier by having that knee on the ground and then squeezing up like that. To make it a bit harder, you'll have your full leg up. I want you guys to really focus on squeezing your glute up. Keep the whole front of your body facing forward. Try not to shift up or down, directly forward, squeezing your glute, and then drawing that lower part that we just worked on. Draw that belly button in, squeeze your glutes. Keep trying to drive up. That's the whole goal of the side plank. Keep driving that hip up so we can really activate those obliques. Oh my God, other side. I get asked this all the time because when we go through things like our squats and stuff like that, people are always like, my knees, my ankles could never. We want to make sure that just as we focus on our hip mobility, we need to be focusing on our knees and our ankles. So when we're doing quads, because to really activate our quads, we want as much knee flexion as possible, which means we actually do want that knee to go over the toe in a lot of movements. That's going to limit your ability to get depth and things like that. So from the ground up is what I always think when we're going through lower body movements. So what I want you guys to do is screw that foot onto the ground, then get next to a pole. We're going to drive that knee over that toe as much as possible, just to really allow us to get some mobility through that ankle. So kind of really driving that knee forward. Allow your weight to push onto your knee. And then as well, we want to kind of be moving from side to side. So driving the knee in the opposite direction, and then as well, mobility is feeling pretty good today in the ankles, I'm not gonna lie. Okay guys, we have got our very first exercise, which is going to be the pendulum squat. Now, a lot of gyms do not actually have the pendulum squat. What we want to be doing is a quad dominant squat pattern, one that we can really load up, so it's our first kind of strength-based movement, the one that's going to take the most amount of effort, the most amount of technique, the most amount of like stabilizers possible. We really want to be locked in for this movement. So if you don't have the pendulum, you could do something like a heel elevated squat, whether that is just with a barbell or whether that is with a Smith machine, or you can do a hack squat as well. However, the hack squat, because of the mechanics of that movement, is going to be a little bit more on like the glute side of things, unless it's a hack squat that you can get really, really good depth, aka a lot of knee flexion, then that's going to make it more quad dominant. I love the pendulum because the depth you get is insane. It's in a machine form. It just kind of allows you to push closer towards failure without, I guess, the technique breakdown in a way where it can be dangerous in a sense, like a back squat or something, where when that technique starts to break down, especially if you're under a lot of load, then you can injure yourself. Whereas this one, because it's a machine, if you fail, you're sweet. If you fail on a back squat, obviously you need to know how to drop the bar, all that. You also really want to be focusing on that depth as well. So making sure you can get as low as possible whilst keeping that neutral spine and maintaining good form. Of course, only work with your personal range of motion and what you can do currently, but you should always work to improve on that as well, so you can get better technique, more range of motion, more control, all that sort of thing. Yes, I just want to explain things. That's what this video is for. Anyways, let's get into our first warm-up set. So after we go through our warm-up, that does not mean that we just go straight into a heavy weight. We want to be still warming up first, so we can go through the technique of the movement and also get some good mind-muscle connection, warm up the muscles, kind of let them know what we're about to do. It will also help us when we're starting to lift heavier weight, be prepared for that, and also our strength will be better as well. So go through the movement, brace that core, really lock my back into the pad. We're gonna come all the way down. See my knee flexion here, see the depth I'm getting, but I've also still got a neutral spine. So my lower back isn't like rounded at all, and my core is still super braced, and then driving up, okay? Down, keeping that control, keep those knees out, core strong, getting as low as I can with good form, which for me is quite low, but for other people it may not be quite there yet. Control, depth, driving up. Okay, now that we're loading this up, form's gonna be super important. So what I do, feet are gonna be about hip width apart. I'm driving directly up. I really like to screw my feet into the platform, pull this back. From there, I'm bracing my core, getting that lower back onto the pads, really driving my back and my shoulder blades into the pads. Then find whatever hand positioning is comfortable. I do find that this is the most comfortable out in front of me. Then from there, we're going to really come all the way down, keep that control, keep those knees out. Drive up nice and powerful. Now with pretty much all movements, guys, I will never rush an exercise. I'll always take my time. I really try and focus on control as I come down, power as I come up. In a lot of movements as well, I may spend 1 second in the contracted phase, which for a squat is actually the lower part of the movement where the muscles are under the most tension. Let's go through it with big deep breath as we come in. 1 second at the bottom, driving up nice and powerful. 4, okay. 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I wanna get the muscles working, but I'm not gonna push too hard today. I did feel that in my neck a little bit, so we're gonna rest for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna move into set 2. We have got 3 sets here. I also wanna remind you guys, your rest is literally just as important. If you guys wanna be getting the most out of your exercises, from a technique perspective, from a strength perspective, from a results perspective, you need to make sure you're resting enough to allow your muscles to recover enough so you can push the adequate intensity to be able to get the results from that movement. If you're undertaking your rest, you are going to be working more in fatigue and muscle endurance rather than muscle hypertrophy. That's where you're going to get the results from a muscle building perspective. Alrighty guys, next up we have got the leg extension. So we just worked the quads in the lengthened position. Now we're going to be working the quads in the shortened position. The leg extension is kind of one in and of its own when it comes to the way it hits the quad muscles because of this top position. A lot of movements will just hit it in the lengthened position. So I do definitely recommend, if you're going to do a quad focused workout, don't skip out on the leg extension. What we're doing here, we've got 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. Again, we're keeping that tempo that I just mentioned in the last video. We want the 3-second negative, and then we want to kind of pause for 1 second in the bottom, and then we're going to really squeeze up super hard in the top position, get that full extension at the top, squeeze super hard there. I always say really control this movement, really lock yourself into the pad because we don't want any momentum whatsoever. We want to keep it fully lengthening through the quads, fully extending through the quads. With every single movement you do, you really should be focusing on the intention of that exercise, the lengthening and then the extension, okay, every single exercise. So make sure we get that full range of motion at the bottom, much as you possibly can, and then fully extend at the top as much as you possibly can. Just gonna do a warm-up set first. Focus on that control, mind-muscle connection. I will always do at least one warm-up set. You don't want to be working to failure, but you definitely just want to like go through the movement pattern at a lighter weight. Again, it's going to prime the muscles, and then it's going to allow you to go through movements with better technique, better mind-muscle connection, and typically be able to lift heavier as well. Okay, let's pump this weight up. If you're following a workout plan, you definitely want to be tracking the weights you're doing as well. So for me, I did this workout last week. I have all my weights tracked from last week. If you've heard of progressive overload, which is the key to building muscle, we want to be making slight increases to the workout over the course of X amount of weeks. So for example, I will follow the exact same workouts for 6 weeks. And my goal over the course of those 6 weeks is to make slight improvements week to week, whether that is improving my technique, increasing weight, increasing by a rep. All these things is an improvement and making those muscles work harder, which is going to support muscle growth. Obviously, you must also pair that with eating enough food like protein and just calories overall to support the muscle building process. But that is definitely one of the most important thing you can do from a training perspective is progressive overload and following the same workout program for a number of weeks. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna move into the first working set. So last week, I know that I did 47.5 kilos for 10. So I'm gonna do the same weight this week, and I'm gonna aim for 11 reps and kind of see how it feels. That's where I'm gonna be starting. And then if it feels really good, that's a good indicator. Either I'll increase by a rep or I can increase the weight. However, this machine that I am using, it has very big increments, which is going to be harder to progress. So for me, because I don't want to be technically working to failure this early on in my phase, being the second week, I will tend to, still reserve a few reps so that I do have that room to improve in the following weeks. Realistically, when you want to be hitting failure and like working to your absolute maximum point is like those final 2 weeks of your phase where you've got nothing left. Otherwise, you can kind of cut yourself short, fatigue earlier on in the phase, which is going to really limit your ability to be able to continue progressing, week to week, month to month. Four. Seven. 8. 9. Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, burning. Let's go. We're gonna go for 3 more. We're gonna get to 12. 3. 2. Oh my god. Squeeze hard. Control. Oh my god. That felt so good. Honestly guys, I'm pretty happy with that. I did 10 reps at this weight last week and it actually felt really, really hard. So I just did 12. They were hard, but they were good. So I'm actually gonna do all 3 sets here at this same weight because next week I can have the goals of increasing reps further or increasing in weight depending on how it's feeling. Alrighty guys, next up we have got a deficit lunge. Now this is actually programmed to be dumbbell, but because I don't want to be like loading up my neck too much, holding the dumbbells could cause a bit of strain. I have just swapped this out for a Smith machine. Now you guys can obviously do realistically any variation. Main thing, because this is a quad focused workout, we do want to keep that upright torso. So you guys would have probably seen when people do like the difference between a quad and a glute focused lunge. The glute focus, just like a squat, we want the chest more over to really load up that glute. When we're thinking more quads, we actually want to shift to have a more upright torso. So compared to this, where the glute is really loaded up and we're more in like a hinging type of movement pattern with our leg, we actually want to keep that more upright torso, which is going to support that more knee flexion. That is the key word for quads, is knee flexion. So keeping that upright torso, really trying to keep that core strong, and then we're going to be driving directly up, trying to keep that chest up the whole time. Now setting this bar up, I'm going to be putting in the high bar position. We want to be sitting it like on the upper part of the traps. I'm then going to be pulling those elbows up, keeping my chest upright, bracing my core. I'm elevating my front foot, which is just going to support more range of motion, getting more depth. It's going to be putting more emphasis through my quads. And also just a lunge in general is also going to be really, really working those glutes. So it's not just a quad movement, it's definitely also glutes, just as, you know, a glute dominant lunge is also going to be working the quads as well. It's just a full lower body movement. So we're elevating that front foot. We're going to take a step back. We're going to be coming all the way down, keeping that upright chest core strong, and then stepping forward. Okay. 10 to 12 reps here. Okay guys, we're going to see how this feels for our first working set. 2, 3, because this is quad focused, it's actually okay, my knee is coming slightly over my toe. Again, knee flexion is the key to quads. 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Next up, almost last. This is gonna be our second last exercise, but we are going to superset this with the last one. So we're going to be doing our adductions, which is going to be the inner part of our thigh with calf raises, because girlies, do not be skipping out on those calves. Do you know what is just as sexy as gorgeous legs is gorgeous calves? They are included in the lower body, okay? So yeah, I want to build back my calves, because I am not going to lie, having calves at the end of the workout, there's just something about it where like you get to the end of the workout and you're like, oh, it's like abs, like CBF, you know? But if you kind of superset it with the last exercise, you can be more inclined, not kind of getting bored in between sets, keep you going, and also make sure that you don't skip out on calves. Same sort of thing with abs. If you're doing something like upper body, and say you might be doing like triceps or biceps as the last exercise, sprinkle some core in there as well so that you don't just neglect it, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna tell you guys what we're doing. Okay, so we're doing adductions. Now, you can do cable adductions if you do not have the machine, and what you would do is you would have the cable and then you would pull through the inner thigh inwards. I'll show you guys that another day. We actually don't even have a cable here, so otherwise I would show you, but you could just Google it, YouTube it, or something like that. The main thing with these machines is we really want to make sure, again, I'm going to keep saying it, but full range of motion. Make sure you're fully lengthening and opening up as you come out, and then really make sure you contract through that inner thigh and squeeze in. We don't want to be focusing on momentum, so you don't just want to lift a weight that is too heavy for you, because then you're going to start to really pull through the hip flexors. Keep it really intentional and really squeeze through the inner part of that thigh there, okay? We're going to do 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps here. Now, we really want to have our bum at the, push it kind of into the pad. Again, we're bracing that core, guys, kind of scoop that pelvic area under. And then I want you guys to really squeeze through the inner part of our thigh here, okay? Then I'm actually going to, my knees are a little bit high. So we're gonna fully open, stretch, 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 squeeze through the inner part of this thigh. 3 seconds on the negative, which is this opening, lengthening phase, and then squeezing up. I'm not gonna lie, this is not opening up as much as I would like it to. What you can do, I can't see any here. I'll have to buy some so I can continue to use it. If it doesn't open up as wide as you can, like you really want to open up as far as you possibly can, you can add like yoga little pads things, you know, those tiny little blocks. That will allow you to kind of open up that little bit more. So you can add more in there to kind of make up for that distance. I'm gonna have to purchase some, but otherwise, yeah, if you've got that at the gym, we really wanna be opening up as much as we possibly can, because again, that lengthening part of the movement, we're getting equally as much, if not more, out of our muscles in that lengthening phase as we are in the contracting. Even though it may not feel like it as such, you really are. I can actually go heavier here. One thing you want to be really careful with when it comes to your adductions as well is in this machine, my knees are actually a little bit higher than where my hip is, which means I'm naturally going to be activating more of my hip flexors. I want you guys, if your machine allows, you could straighten up your legs a little bit more. So for this one, you can kind of see over here better, but there's like a lower part, and that's going to really allow me to pull through that middle part of my thigh here. Otherwise, what I would recommend is like elevating your bum a bit more. So you could get a weight plate or something like that that is gonna put your knees in a better position. Oh, that's better. That's hard. Feels so much better. I'm also focusing a bit more on kind of my heels in here. So from heels and then squeezing that inner part of my thigh compared to like toes. Again, keep that core brace, guys. Every single movement. Let's get 5 more. 5. See ya, have a good day. Lovely to meet you. I said let's get 5 more, I got 1 more. Let's have a quick race. See how many more we can get. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I think we can get 1 more. We can keep going. Careful on that squeeze. One more, come on. Alrighty, we have got our standing calf raise. We can do that with a machine if you've got the machine at your gym. Otherwise, you can just do a Smith machine, or you could do, I wouldn't really say barbell. You could do it with like hack squat, or you can do it even on a leg press as well. So I personally really like this standing, just for like how much load you can put through your calves and being able to get that fully lengthening through the bottom and then that full contraction at the top. Sometimes I find even with the seated, like my calves can really cramp, so then I kind of stop before I'm really working to failure. When you're doing the calf raises as well, one huge thing we want to be focusing on is really lengthening out as far as you possibly can at the bottom and then squeezing up as high as you can at the top. Okay, now we're going to be going 12 to 15 slash until failure. So squeezing up, fully stretch, lengthen at the bottom, squeeze up hard. Nine, 10, 1 more. Holy shit. Oh my God. We have just gotten back from the gym, guys. I thought I would touch base on a question I get asked about all the time, which is what should you be eating like pre and post workout? So we want to remember food is fuel, guys. Food is fuel for our bodies to perform, but also to recover as well. So when we're thinking pre and post workout, we want to think energy, okay? And our best source of energy is carbohydrates. Now, we know that to build muscle and to preserve muscle, we want to ensure that we're getting enough protein, and that should be spread out over the course of your day. So if you have 3 meals and your protein goal is 140 grams, let's say, you kind of want to divide 140 by 3 and make sure that you're having a decent chunk of protein in each meal. Of course, if that's too much, then you can kind of break that down with some snacks in between as well. Now, when it comes to carbohydrates, that is our body's preferred energy source. So that is the easiest and quickest thing that our body can break down when it comes to performance. So using that energy as fuel, and then also recovery. So helping us recover in our session to help us perform better, but also to recover after our session as well. So when we're thinking pre and post workout, we want to be giving our body that energy that it's needing at that point in time. So carbohydrates is going to be the first thing, and we want like more like kind of fast acting carbs. So post workout, I'm thinking more you want high protein, and then you also want a decent amount of carbs in there as well. You want some fats because you should be having a dose of healthy fats throughout every single meal. However, fats are also quite slow digesting. So you do want to keep that more in the moderate side. So you wouldn't be having a super high fatty meal pre or post workout. You're going to feel a bit sluggish. You won't be burning that as efficiently. You're much better off having a more carbohydrate dense meal pre and post workout. Hope that makes sense. So anyways, with that being said, let's figure out what we're gonna have. Turns out I don't have any pre-cooked meat, which is a no-go for me, because when I'm hungry now and I do not want to cook. So we're gonna go the next best option right now, which is gonna be a protein shake. I do double scoop my protein when I have a protein shake because I'm really trying to increase my protein again. So I'll just double scoop protein. I put banana in there, and I'll also put a bit of honey in there today as well, because I'm currently trying to build muscle again. So I really want to be trying to increase my calorie intake. Those little things that I can add in, like honey or peanut butter or even oats into a smoothie, will make it easier for me to get in more calories and be kind of less filling, in the sense that liquid calories are obviously a lot easier to consume compared to a meal, for example. So it can go both ways. If your goal is muscle, like building muscle, you want to kind of add in empty calories sometimes, which is things like, you know, your honey or your peanut butter and things that are higher in a way in calories but don't add much volume to a meal. Also things like oil. On the flip side, if your goal is to lose body fat, those empty calories can be getting in the way of you achieving your goals as well. So things like the peanut butter or the extra oil on your food or the sauces and all those things can just be adding more and more calories to your meal, which can be like, oh, but I don't eat that much food, but you're adding all these extra things which are adding a whole heap more calories, and that could be why you may not be achieving fat loss. Even when you think you're not eating a lot of food per se, you may still be eating quite a few calories. So yeah, anyways, let's eat. Here she is. Guys, I've just finished editing this whole workout vlog for you guys and realized I did not film an outro, so I wanted to quickly outro this video. And please make sure, if you guys did watch all the way to the end, please do like, please do subscribe as well. It really does help me. And also shoot me a comment with absolutely any questions you have or what you found the most helpful from this video, because I really want to hear from you guys and yeah, know what kind of content that you guys like to see, and I guess also how my content may be helping you as well. But other than that, guys, if you are looking for a program or a workout plan to follow, I do also offer online coaching, both one-on-one and then also my coaching app as well. So if you are interested or you feel like you need that extra guidance, definitely look on there and see if that is something that you would like to do. But otherwise, guys, I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day and an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you guys in my next video.